Big 12 today here on Big 12 Radio. Good morning. It's a Monday, October 13th. We kick off the work week with you here exclusively on TuneIn, simulcast on Big 12 Studios at big12studios.com, the Big 12 Fast Channel, airing via your Roku device, Amazon Prime TV, DirecTV, YouTube, and many other avenues. He's Ari Timken. I'm James Westling. Taman Turner on the controls. And we were told that, well, I guess we'll start with, we're calling it the week of breakout running backs. It's also apparently the week of breakout wardrobes as well, because you are rocking your Sweetness Chicago Bears tee, vintage tee.
Thank you. Yeah, Bears are the big one tonight, and so I'm excited about that, but super excited to talk about everything that happened on Saturday in the Big 12. 7 games, and as you mentioned, James, Week 7 seemed to be the week of the breakout running back. We saw some humongous performances, career performances from multiple running backs in the Big 12, so excited to dive on in. Plus, of course, we've got to check on the status of Behren Morton. There was some fireworks between Texas Tech and Kansas and the coaches in that one. So, yeah, a lot to discuss and break down here on this manic Monday. Just thinking of other M words. Nothing really came out quick.
Massive. Just a massive
manic.
It's a massive Monday. We were told Big 12 polos. You're wearing a vintage Bears T-shirt, so I just want you to know that the Big 12 Studios wardrobe floodgates are open.
Open.
They're open.
Open sesame.
Okay. Those rules have been tossed aside. All right? Big 12 polos were the rule. Already showed up in 1985, and I'm here for it.
You gotta let me express myself. That's
exactly.
It, if I'm gonna be doing this on video every day and waking up and having to put my face on.
Are you gonna wear your hair like that today?
Having to wear my hair like this every day. Do my hair. Get ready. I am going to be expressing myself artistically.
I love it. It's just
my
straight
clothing.
I'm jealous. That's what it is.
It's true.
That's what it is. Just straight jealousy. All right, we kick off each and every Monday with our Big 12 whip around. 1 minute on the clock. We go through each and every Big 12 game from the weekend that was. Taman will guide us through this. Taman, where do we start?
Kansas, Texas Tech.
This game was close for a while. Texas Tech wins it 42-17 to improve to 6-0 on the season, 3-0 in Big 12 play. Tech jumps out to a big lead. Cameron Dickey exploded on the very first offensive play for a 71-yard touchdown run. KU then fumbled. Turnovers were an issue. Texas Tech led 21-0. KU scores 17 points unanswered. At that point, you think, the Hawks are right there with them. Texas Tech is getting tested. The second half, though, Texas Tech flexing their muscles. You mentioned that Texas Tech quarterback Behren Morton suffered a leg injury, did not return. Will Hammond came in, looked good as a runner, not so great as a passer. What were your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, Kansas had the ball down 21-17 in the second half, and I thought an inside run play call on 3rd and 1 really killed them in this one, because after that drive stalled out, Kansas punts. Tech has a long run from Dickey that puts them ahead 35-17, and then they hit another one to go 42-17, and then the game was pretty much done. Kansas had 74 rushing yards. Texas Tech had 372. So we'll have plenty more to say on this game, including the fireworks after the game between Lance Leipold and Joey McGuire, and what Lance Leipold had to say about the tortillas and
Coach
flags.
Leipold, he was heated.
Yeah, he was.
Post-game.
BYU, Arizona.
Man, this was a banger. An all-timer went into double overtime. BYU escapes with a 33-27 win to improve to 6-0. We've got a pair of undefeated teams still in the Big 12, 3-0 in league play. BYU jumped out to an early lead. Their ground game was humming with L.J. Martin. Parker Kingston caught a 75-yard touchdown when he just blasted away from the Arizona secondary. But Arizona continued to fight. Bear Bachmeier ran it in from 2 yards out with 19 seconds left. In overtime, we trade field goals, and then Bachmeier another rushing touchdown for BYU.
Yeah, this was classic Big 12 after dark. This game had everything. Wild plays, momentum swings, a weather delay, 2 overtimes. Bear Bachmeier made some mistakes in this game, but it was the 2 rushing touchdowns that he had that won it for him. And, L.J. Martin, we talk about breakout running backs. Cameron Dickey for Texas Tech, L.J. Martin for BYU. But this was a game of runs. BYU went up 14-0. Arizona came back with 24 straight, was up 24-14 in the fourth quarter with 11 to play, and then BYU closed on a 19-0 run.
And Bear Bachmeier, a very off night as a passer, just 12 for 29 passing, but BYU finds a way to win. Taman, what's next?
Arizona State and Utah.
Arizona State and Utah, the big story coming into this one. Sam Leavitt out for the contest. He's day-to-day. Utah pounded Arizona State 42-10. Utah's now 5-1, 2-1 in Big 12 play. Quarterback Devin Dampier for the Utes accounted for multiple early scores. He had a couple of rushing touchdowns, finished with a $120 on the ground. It was the week of the running back and the week of the running game because he had 3 rushing touchdowns for a Utes team that had almost 300 rushing yards.
Yeah, 4 first-half drives for Utah, 25 carries for 187 yards and 3 touchdowns. That was in the first half alone in their 4 first-half drives. So their ground game exploded the first half and really carried them to victory. They averaged 7.5 yards per carry in the first half, and that thing didn't go away. It was 21-3 at halftime. Arizona State cut the lead to 28-10 in the third quarter, but that was as close as they would get. Utah also had 5 sacks in this game, and Arizona State had been leading the conference in sacks, did not have a sack in this game. Yeah, without Sam Leavitt, not much of a chance here for Arizona State.
We'll discuss just what the message was from Utah. Was it a statement win for the Utes here in about 15? What's the next game?
Iowa State, Colorado.
Iowa State and Colorado. This was a stinky line going into this one. Iowa State favored by 1.5. Colorado looking for their first Big 12 win, and they grab it, 24-17. They really kind of controlled the tempo in this game. Caden Salter had 255 yards passing, a couple of touchdowns, including a 70-yarder to Amarion Miller. Rocco Beck, the Iowa State quarterback, very emotional post-game, disappointed in the loss as Iowa State drops their second in a row.
Yeah, and this one in many ways came down to a picked-up flag. It was a pass interference to the end zone that was intercepted on the pass, and clearly Ben Bramer was tackled before the pass got there. And yet the interception was allowed to continue, and the life was sucked out of Iowa State after that. They picked up the flag, a horrible no call. Iowa State did have chances after that. They were turned away on 4th and 1. And then on an inside run, Amari McNeil made a great play for Colorado. And then they got the ball back down by a touchdown, 24-17, with under 5 to play in all 3 timeouts, and they were not able to get it done. So credit Colorado's defense. Came up big in this one, but this one certainly came down to a huge picked-up pass interference penalty that was intercepted by Rocco Becht.
Man, Boulder was rocking after the Dion surgery. You didn't know how that team would respond, and it's by far Colorado's biggest win of the season. Next up,
UCF and Cincinnati.
20-11 was the final score. Maybe a scoregami. Cincinnati moves to 5-1, 3-0 in Big 12 play. UCF falls to 3-3 and 0-3. They started Cam Fancher in this game. He threw for 222 and rushed for 108, but most of that was in the second half when the game was already out of reach. UCF never led. Cincinnati was very conservative. They didn't throw the ball a ton. I think late in the fourth quarter, Sorsby had only attempted like 16 or 17 passes in this contest. Cincinnati really leaned on their defense, and it felt like a day at the office for the Bearcats, just trying to get a win, get some rest, and get ready for their next one.
Yeah, the time of possession stat spoke very interesting in this game. UCF with 39 minutes, Cincinnati with the ball for 20 minutes and 16 seconds. So despite being basically minus 20 in the time of possession here, because UCF had some long drives that came away with 0 points. One drive was like insane. It was like a 15-play, 9-minute drive, 17 plays, 40 yards, 9:02 off the clock. Eventually, the drive ends with UCF punting on 3rd and 22. So, yeah, I thought Cincinnati's defense played exceedingly well to hold. They gave up yardage, but did not give up a ton of points in this one.
Houston and Oklahoma State.
Well, the big story in this one was the shirtless fan. The student that took his shirt off, whipped it around his head, was all alone in the upper deck of Boone Pickens Stadium. and then 1 became 2, and then 3, and then 10, and then 12, and then entire sections of Oklahoma State fans, shirtless men whipping their shirts around their heads, helicopter style. But Houston got the win, 39-17. I was pretty impressed by Houston. Oklahoma State started a wide receiver at quarterback. Now, he did play a couple of years at previous stops at that position, but Oklahoma State looked really overmatched in this game. Connor Wegman had over 300 yards passing. Houston gets the dub.
Yeah, Oklahoma State with just 10 first downs in this game. Their biggest play of the season came on a double pass. It was a touchdown pass thrown by Shamar Rigby. There are now 4 Oklahoma State quarterbacks that have thrown a touchdown pass this season, so it gives you a sense of, that they haven't gotten a ton of production from the quarterback position because 2 of those are not quarterbacks that have thrown touchdown passes. Dean Connors may have had the catch of the season, the running back with one hand grabbed in the air on a touchdown. And, you mentioned the 40-year-old. It was started by a 40-year-old.
It wasn't a student. It was a 40-year-old.
Yeah, dude our age started
You're
it.
better.
And, that was the highlight of this game, certainly for Oklahoma State, is their fans were not quitting.
I mean, Taman has been begging for us to do this opening segment shirtless. We said, Taman, come, we're professionals.
Yeah.
Okay? We're not going to.
Next week.
Next week, he says. Okay, we've got more games.
TCU at Kansas State.
What in the world was that in Manhattan, Kansas? Where did that come from? The Kansas State defense was all over the field. They were connected. Desmond Purnell had 2 interceptions, the K-State linebacker, a pick 6 as Kansas State rolls 41-28 over TCU to move to 3-4. They dropped TCU to 1-2 in Big 12 play. Avery Johnson threw 3 touchdown passes, 2 of them to his tight end Garrett Oakley to seal the game in Manhattan.
Yeah, this thing went from bad to worse for Josh Hoover. So in the second quarter, they throw a pass behind the line of scrimmage. It's called a lateral. Ed Small can't grab it, and it's a defensive touchdown for K-State. And then Purnell in the third quarter has a pick 6. So 14 points from the K-State defense is what got K-State out to a huge lead in the second half. And, after that, it was kind of over because TCU's defense could really do nothing to stop Garrett Oakley and Joe Jackson and the K-State rushing attack. But, yeah, this game was close until the 2 defensive touchdowns by K-State put this thing really out of reach for TCU.
That's all we got, guys.
That's it. The Big 12 slate. Your winners, Texas Tech, BYU, Utah, Colorado, Cincinnati, Houston, and Kansas State in a wild Week 7 of Big 12 football.